Good afternoon. It's me. I've been. Let me get tongue tied here. Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you're at, what time of the day it is where you're at. You know what, man? It's been a long time since I've done any of these, and I did these. I had taken a break because things were going on, and we're going through court and stuff like that with the attorneys had asked that we didn't do any of these, and so I wanted to do what they wanted, and we did. It's been a while, so excuse me. And I'm just getting on here right now because I want to just. It's been such a long time that I don't know if I have to remember how to do these. um, I remember back before I stopped doing these that YouTube had stopped people from doing live streams from their phones and stuff out in public and stuff like that. And so I just do them from here. But yeah, it's been a while, like I said, and I hope everybody's doing fine. And I hope that those people that were on my page will come back and listen to it. I'm not going to reveal any information right now to what has been going on with my son's case, but as you know, I'll give you a quick summary of it for those who catch this later. I know I didn't announce that I was going live to anybody or anything like that. I did. I was on Regan's page, her chat the other day when she was at Westminster a couple of days ago, and I chimed in on there and I typed in my YouTube channel to people to subscribe to me, and I got a few. Phyllis, thank you. And there's some others I haven't went through there and read a lot of them. Uh, like I said, I don't do them from my phone when I'm out in public anymore. When I'm working during the day, it's kind of hard anyway. But that all being said, a quick summary of Timmy, my son Timmy, that was shot to death by Westminster Police Department September 4th, 2018. It's been a while. It's been a long while. And, we've all grown a lot in this. And, yeah, it's been a while, and you do grow a lot from it. I mean, nobody plans on having their kid shot, you know, no one plans on that. But anyway, you can go back and watch some of the videos that I did uh, a few years ago, and you can kind of get updated on some other details of what happened. But anyway, September 4th, 2018, uh, my son Timmy shot, was in an officer involved shooting in Westminster, California. I mean, no, Colorado, not California. But anyway, see, that's how far off I am. Yeah, I haven't been doing these uh, live streams in a while, and I'm just gonna have to get myself familiar to it again. Uh, but anyway, so the whole thing is, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of it, is so that you know. My son Tim, he lived here with me, and one day out of the blue in 2018, it was I think it was like July, about July 1st. He told me that he was going to move to Colorado. That Amazon, he worked at Amazon, and that a team of his Amazon associates were all moving to up around by Thornton, Colorado, to open up a new Amazon fulfillment center there. Anyway, Tim, he went there in July, and you know, everything seemed to be going fine. And then out of the blue, you get this call around September 5th. It was the day after. Yeah, September 4th at night. No, September that night, September the 4th. I get this call from his girlfriend that he was living with there, and she's telling me Timmy's dead. And I just talked to him because he'd his Jeep. We were talking about it. He was having his Jeep in there, and he'd been working, and he bought tires and he bought rims for that Jeep. He took it over to Les Schwab, and he had pictures, sending me pictures of before and after, and he was just so excited about it. He just bought him a brand new PlayStation, and he was doing Madden Live, and and then him and I, and I don't believe. That's why I call this the believer's authority, because I'm a believer in Jesus. I've been following Jesus for a number of years. I've really drawn close these last 4 or 5 years. I've really gotten pretty close to the Lord, and so I'm a believer in Christ, and I have the authority to do these things, and you do too. But anyway, so we were all excited. Timmy had that Madden Live and stuff like that, and him and I were doing some Bible studies and stuff like that. Over the phone and stuff like that, and and then all of a sudden, out of Sept, and he was hitting the gym, and he was eating healthy, and he was just so excited about his new move to Colorado. And I was excited about it too, kind of. At first I didn't like it because it's a long ways away. But then I started thinking. Me and we're talking. It's like, yeah, Thanksgiving and Christmas, get together, and I can come out there, and I can see the beautiful state of Colorado. It is a very beautiful state. I love it. In fact, I follow a couple of preachers over there that would. Who's this on here? Yeah. So anyway, I follow Andrew Womack over there in Colorado, and I follow he's over at Charis Bible College. I really enjoy his teachings on that. He's got the big college over there. I wish I had time and to go over there and actually go through the college and stuff like that. But anyway, that's off of what I was going to kind of talk about. So anyway, I'm one that gets distracted and goes different ways a lot. My mind. I've been created that way. But anyway, so Tim, gets this call, from his girlfriend Kristen saying, hey, Tim is dead. What? Excuse me? Yeah, cops shot him, killed him. You sure? Yeah. And so we started calling it. And then anyway, I got off of there and I called down to the Westminster Police Department and start trying to talk to them about it. And I get a hold of some gal on the phone. I don't know who she was. Can't remember the name. In that situation, people and names don't register in your mind. They don't register in your mind at all. I mean, you're like, whoa, I'm talking about my kid. You sure you got the right one? Because, Tim, before, he never got in trouble with the police. I raised 6 kids. And out of all the 6 kids, Timmy was the only one that he never got in trouble. I went to school all the time, every day, was involved in basketball, football. I mean, the kid literally since 5th grade, he started football since he was about 5. And, he just went from, he played for Modesto 49ers at the junior novice level at 5 years. I think it's 5 years old, 6 years old, I think it was. But so he played for that. But then when he got into the 5th grade, when we moved over into series, he got onto the boys basketball team that's for 5th and 6th graders, and so his love for basketball and football. He actually went from football season, and then as soon as football season was over, before it was actually even over, he was already into basketball. And those 2 sports he swapped back and forth throughout his senior year in high school. And so, he was just, that's the kind of person he was. So to hear, that, so why would your kid be shot by police? Never been in trouble with law. Never, he got in trouble with me and his mother a few times, quite a bit. But he was one that was never really, he just went with it. You know what I mean? He enjoyed it. He enjoyed school. He enjoyed his friends. He enjoyed a lot of other things. And so to hear that cops shot your kid, and knowing that we always brought up our kids to respect the police, always respect the police. And that's the thing about it was, that was what was so mind blowing. But then anyway, this lady that I'm talking to, I guess she was an intake officer for information or whatever. But this chick starts flipping it around and then starts asking me questions, like interrogating me over the phone, asking questions like, "Did your son have a drug problem? Did your son have guns? Who did he hang around with? Why was he in Oak, Colorado?" And I'm following. I fell into this little trap until I realized what this chick was doing. And I said, "Wait a minute! I called you to ask you, did you guys shoot and kill my son today?" And then she started telling me, "Yeah, well, you know, it was an officer involved shooting. Timmy was there and stuff like that." And she made it sound like that Timmy was burglarizing apartments or condos or whatever they are that place he's killed. She made it sound like he was in there burglarizing the place, and that the cops busted in there. Cops came in there and shot him inside the place. Well, the building that he was in, it was a 2-story building, and they were saying that they shot Timmy inside the apartment. And uh, wow, and it's like she was associating my son with burglary. It's like, that's not even. You sure you got the right person? But anyway, so then right away, we started uncovering things, and then we started finding. And probably about September 6th is when I started digging, and I started contacting a lawyer. I contacted attorney over there in Westminster. I mean, not Westminster in Colorado. I contacted Raymond Bryant. I contacted him, and he was the only one that actually returned the call, and we started talking. And I was frantic. I don't know how to talk to an attorney about something like this. I mean, you just don't. These are things that you just don't practice to live out in life. And so, man. So right away, right then and away, I started digging. I started digging and digging and digging and trying to get on, and then getting on the phone and calling over there to Westminster where it was after that, and trying to get records and trying to do this, and then just getting a whole bunch of BS. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, well, you have to pay for this page, and you got to pay for this page, you got to sign for this page, and you got to send us your copy of your ID, and it's just a whole lot of stuff, and that you would think that should be free to the parent, and I wouldn't have even got as far as I did if I hadn't have been on I think it was a Facebook page of police shootings or something like that. I can't remember. I don't go on there anymore. But anyway, I typed on there how to find some help in Colorado, and boom, somebody contacted me and told me that give me Regan Benson's name and phone number. And so I started sending her texts. And at first, she was like, well, yeah, a lot of people move to Colorado to change their life and things happen. And, but after I started, but the thing is she didn't stop. She didn't stop the communication, And I told her, I said, well, I heard I got your name from somebody off of a web page there, and a chat page or whatever about officer involved shootings and stuff like that. And it's when they said you could probably help me, that you were an activist there in around Colorado and Westminster. And so anyway, her and I we started chatting. We started back and forth. I remember it was like about an hour or two going on and on and on. And I was just telling her things. And I'd already had stuff on my phone that I was sending her, boom, 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 and so she's reading this, and then finally she came to the point, it's like, we called and talked to each other, and we started talking back and forth and stuff like that, and then that's when our relationship started, and it escalated into so much. I just want to tell everybody out there, I really thank Regan for what she did. I mean, because I wouldn't have been able to get as far as I did without her. I mean, dude, we went. I I can't begin to tell you some of the things that we did. And how we got information about these officers that were involved, and how we got information, the chief of police, and then how we got to you get to see the cover up unfold right before your very eyes. I mean, in some way, like I said before at the beginning of this video, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and and I prayed about it, and most of the time when we pray, man, we pray and we don't listen to what God has to tell us and stuff like that. There's not a human out there that really does. But the thing of it is that part about where He takes your sorrow and your pain, He really did. Because when we were fighting this case, it was kind of like, yeah, I knew my son was gone. Now I know that he's gone. And still in the back of my mind, I kind of always had that feeling. It was like, they got the wrong guy. And then when I was trying to read, the newspaper articles about the shooting and stuff, which, by the way, the media, they're controlled by the police. Yeah, the media will not report anything other than what the police departments say. So if the police department says it, it's fact, which is totally not fact. For instance, I'll tell you one thing. Okay, so when I'm reading this, looking through there, I'm scanning on my phone and I'm looking for, the news media about this case and all that stuff, and I'm looking for it, and I'm going through it, and so I find one. It's a 27-year-old male that was shot and killed there, and so I'm reading it, blah, 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 and I get down there, and it's a different name. I was thinking, wow, they must have got Timmy's name wrong. But then I went on down the scroll and I found Timmy's. And they were word for word pretty much the same thing, just a few details changed. And that's how the cover up is when they kill your kid, when they kill anybody or they do anything, they automatically right at the beginning start covering it up. Okay, so here's another thing. I'm going to go back a little further. And on September the 4th, my son Timmy, he was he'd bought some cocaine and had a scent from California over to there, which was laced with something, and was making him hallucinate. And he'd been hallucinating, and so that morning, he was hallucinating and thinking these wild German Shepherd puppies were chasing him, and he was up on top of a neighbor's vehicle, and the neighbor came out, and this was like 9 a.m, and Timmy's telling him, call the police, somebody's trying to kill me, these dogs are after me, they're trying to rip me apart and all this stuff like that. And so the police come there, and they talk Timmy down and get him down and put him in the back of the ambulance, and they hook him up to these machines and stuff like that. And then, he had been going in and out of hallucinations, but Officer Engelberg, the one that shot him and killed him, he was the guy that was there. So he sets Timmy on the curb and says, okay, just go home. And, okay, so now you got to realize this. Timmy just admitted to these guys that he'd been up on cocaine for a few days. Tim wasn't, he didn't, he worked and did this stuff it's like everybody else drinking and stuff. And I'm not trying to say drinking alcohol and doing cocaine and stuff like that is the norm. I mean, most people have a glass of wine or a beer and stuff like that. But but he had been there and he hadn't been doing that. And anyway, so he'd been up, and so the cops just sits him right there, and Timmy admitted to him that. And so that's against the law, so they should have took him in and kept him in like a detox or even in jail like you do for a drunken public. He was under the influence, but sets him on the curb and tells him to go home, and that would be it. Well, later on that day, a few hours later, 3 hours later, actually, now Timmy's hallucinating really bad. In fact, he'd been talking to his girlfriend Kristen on the phone moments before all this happened, and he's walking with her, and she was telling me this because I know this because that's what we talked about. And she said that he was telling her that these people are following him, that they're all following him, and he's talking to her walking on this path. There was a bike trail that went between the apartments and there was a school down over there at the end of the apartments, back to the back, and there was a trail that went from the front behind the apartments all the way to the school. There was a bike trail, and Timmy, he'd been on it. So anyway, he was on that path, but then he takes off running because he thinks now that these people are chasing him. Like he's telling Kristen, his girlfriend, he's telling her, "Oh God, these guys are after me. They're gonna kill me and stuff." And then he starts running, like they're chasing him. I guess he thought they were chasing him. And the next thing you know, man, is I guess he went into the apartments and was banging on doors and stuff. And he banged on one door and busted into one and went in and he come face to face with the kid and Ethan Tackett that was there. And he told him, called cops, somebody's trying to kill me. But then about that time, but moments before that, I guess he made such a corruption or something that the police were called. And so the police were called, and then as soon as Tim walks out of the door, and Officer Engelberg, and you can hear it on the 911 dispatch, the lady, the officer that was taking the information and giving it back to the police, you hear her voice, and she says that we got that disturbance in the apartment complex over there. Sounds like the description of that young man that you went out on this morning on that medical. Did you transport that? And he says negative. And it's his badge number, and that's how you know. It didn't say his name, but it was his badge number, and it was his voice. And his response is negative. Well, then, so once he gets to the once he gets to the scene, he gets out of his car with this gun in his hand, automatic. And that was the same time that Timmy comes walking out of that apartment. And he just, you can hear on the 911 dispatch, "Stop, don't," and then bam, you hear a gunshot. And the whole time, Ethan's in his house on the phone with the dispatch. That's how you can hear that part of it. And you hear a stop, don't, and then bam, a gunshot, and then followed by more. And then, those are the facts that are in the case. Okay, so right away, there was a lot of stuff that just didn't jive with this thing. Timmy was an avid video person. You're going to get all this from, if you go back and read it, you're going to get all this stuff. And a lot of stuff you might not get because we weren't allowed to talk about a lot of stuff that was going through court. I mean, because, you're just not allowed to talk about it. Well, anyway, Timmy had always been an avid video guy, man. He always videoed everything he did. I mean, I got videos of him. I was just watching one the other day. He would get his phone and his bike and his dog, and they'd take off. We have a trail down here. It's a 12-mile. It's either 6 miles. Yeah, 6 miles one way and 6 miles back on the river. And he would just ride that. And he just let Abby, his dog, just run wild right beside him. And he would drive that. But he would ride that bike, and the whole time he's videoing it, panning it around so you can see where he's at. And he's just talking, and he's looking, and he's reading on there, and he's riding pretty fast, And he's talking, and he's seeing people that are chiming in on his video, and he's responding to them and telling them, hey, yeah, get down here and stuff like that. And it's just an awesome video. I mean, if you can, just go to Timmy Henley's YouTube page and you can watch all those videos. And you can kind of get a feel of what kind of person he is, or he was. And you can kind of get that feel. So anyway, he was just a lively guy, and everybody that met him liked him. He was a lot. He reminded me so much of my brother Marty. I had a brother Marty that was the same way. Marty, everybody liked Marty. Marty never met a person that he didn't like. That's just the way he was, and nobody ever met Marty and didn't like him. Marty was the cool dude. And but Tim and Marty, they were a lot alike. And anyway, so you can go back and you can go to Timmy Henley's YouTube page. I'm not quite sure the name of it, but you can type it in and you can find his YouTube page, and you can watch all his live streams, and you can see what kind of what kind of man Timmy was, young man. He's still a kid to me, but you just but the fight for justice, to try to get justice, and anybody else that ever goes through any of this, there was a lady here in Modesto that got her son shot. I think it was 2020. He was shot like a couple days after Christmas. And right away, because I learned that, because Timmy's case, these guys covered it up so well, and they timed everything so well that the cops would not get in trouble. Because, police have immunity. They can kill people and they can get away with it. And their immunity. And you have 180 days from the time of the incident to file charges on the officer to bring him to justice. Okay, so Tim's shot in September the 4th, shot September 4th, 2018. So the case is all this stuff, the investigation, and that's another thing, is the police department, the Westminster Police Department, themselves, and Thornton, Colorado Police Department are both, Thornton's investigating it, and they're investigating it. It's just a bunch of good old boys investigating themselves. Okay? So, you know what the verdict's going to be. Okay, so, during their investigation, there's a lot of things they didn't do. Okay, so the whole time that they were complaining about this investigation, and then this investigation was done and over with by November, right before Thanksgiving of 2018. Okay, that's when the DA's office was done with the investigation, because the DA's office there didn't investigate it. They went by what the two police departments were doing. So the police departments, they're buddies. They're friends. They're investigating each other. So of course they're not going to come up with any wrongdoing. Of course, And so they submit what their findings are to the DA. The DA, he probably, I don't even know if he opened it up and read it. So he closes the case and endorses it as a closed case. It's done and over with. Investigation is done. Okay, so you got September, whole month of September, October, November, 3 months, just in 90 days. And that they did not, and that case was closed, and it sat on that DA's desk, or I don't know where they had it, but they did not release it to us until February 2019. Okay, so in the discovery, which is the video of so-called all their evidence, they send it to you. This is what I got. Everything's dusty. So you see this little flash drive. It holds a lot of files, okay? So this is the discovery that we get. It was on that. And I had Regan go get it. And she had to go sign an ID. She had to go put her ID in. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. I can't remember if we paid for it. I can't remember. She would know. She has all the records. Because let me put it this way. I'm in California, okay? California's a long way from Colorado to be driving over there. And I don't know Westminster. I don't know. I've never been to Colorado. I couldn't tell you. You could drop me off in Woodland, Colorado. I know a little bit now. You could drop me off in Woodland, Colorado. I wouldn't know which way to go to get to Westminster. Yeah, and so Regan, she lives there. She grew up there, and she went and she knew where to go. She knows because she's an activist there. I mean, she fights. She's been an activist there for a number of years, and so this was all just a divine connection. Her and I hooking up. This is all God. And you don't want to believe in God. That's your deal. That's yours. Whatever. But this was all of the Lord because I prayed. And remember, I told you in the beginning, I pray. We all pray, and we don't follow through and stuff like that. We just jump out there without getting, But anyway, so the thing of it is I'm gonna have to get off here pretty soon because I have my cousin's going in for an operation today, and he really wants me to be there. So I have to go in. So I'm going to go in there and just to be support for him. But I will get back to this. So anyway, Regan, she helped me out so much, and that's why I'm doing the number one reason why I'm doing this first stream here. And you can, if you're not watching it live, which I doubt anybody is, because I didn't tell anybody I was going to do it. But so I want to just give this first off as give props to Regan for what she's done, and that's always going to be. But anyway, so and another reason I want to do is I want to make sure that I got this right and that I know what I'm doing here. So excuse me, it's raining here today. I didn't go to work, so I just been hanging around the house because I knew my cousin was going to go do this and stuff like that. So we're going to pick this up again at another time and date. Probably over this weekend. We'll get together and I'll do a live stream on Saturday maybe. Depending on how I am. I'm pretty good, about if I say I'm going to do something, I always do it. But so, hey, you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed this live stream and pass it around and come back because I'm going to do more. I'm going to, because I can do more now about this case of Timmy Henley. And, I got a few rules to follow, but, I'll update you guys. All right. Thanks. Peace out.